Welcome to another episode of the Report Program. Today we will cover the new ban on plastic bags, earthquake preparation, and tuition changes.
Plus, we have a story on Snapchat and driving.
We will also be taking a look at our school's very own athletic department and TSU pub.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Report Program. I'm Taylor Pasqua.
I'm Taylor Perea.
And I'm Kira Norell. Let's start the show off by talking about the results of the elected propositions.
With Prop 64 passing, recreational marijuana is now legal. People who are facing charges now have the chance to have their cases petitioned. Kira Norell has more.
In 2010, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger made carrying a small amount of marijuana an infraction, triggering an 86% in misdemeanor arrests over the past 5 years. Now with the Proposition 64 passing, making California the 5th state to legalize recreational pot, it can now help reduce prison sentences and clear all criminal records related to marijuana.
Actually against the legalization of marijuana, but along with Prop 64 that came with it was the release of a lot of inmates in prison. And I had a lot of older friends that are incarcerated because of marijuana. So hopefully with the passing of Prop 64, they give them the chance to get out and get their records wiped clean and have a regular life, because they're in there along with, murderers and rapists and people who do whatever else all over a plant.
According to the Drug Policy Alliance, over 1 million people convicted of marijuana-related misdemeanors and felonies could petition to have their records changed or cleared, giving them access to jobs, housing, and other services. However, some penalties have increased. If caught smoking in a non-smoking area, an increase of $150 has been placed. But that's still better than jail time. So yes, some people may have voted no on Prop 64, but now that it has passed, it could be the second chance for so many people. I am Kira Norell with the Report Program. Have you ever thought about what you're going to carry your groceries in? Probably not, because up until now, shoppers have been provided plastic grocery bags for free. A new statewide law now requires shoppers to pay a charge for each plastic bag they need. Reporter Savannah Romero tells us more.
Grocery shopping is usually a routine task, as simple as 1, 2, 3. But shoppers may be surprised by something that they have never thought about before: a charge for each plastic carryout bag that they need. California passed a statewide ban on single-use plastic bags with Proposition 67, leading grocery stores, as well as other convenience stores, to charge a minimum of 10 cents per bag.
Some people they don't have an extra however many cents to bag their groceries. Like someone like me, they just made me pay an extra 50 cents. Yeah, I know it's not a ton of money, but that adds up every time you go to the grocery store, you know what I mean? And I just think it's not fair.
They think it's not fair, or because they're used to getting free bags. But once they know it's 10 cents, they really don't care, so they'll go ahead and pay for them. And many of them are not aware that we already started it.
It's not really going to affect my bank account, but I just have to remember to bring these.
The newly imposed charge promotes the use of reusable bags that shoppers bring from home in hopes of reducing pollution. Now I'm sure that shoppers will think twice when the cashier asks, "Would you like me to double bag that?" I'm Savannah Romero with the Report Program.
Here's another look at Proposition 67 from reporter Carla Bonilla, who has the story.
Proposition 67, a proposition to ban plastic bags in California, was approved last November 8 with 52.5% of votes in favor. That's why famous stores such as Target are already taking action. It is also one of the nearest stores to CSUF Fullerton campus, and if people go to shop, plastic bags are not being offered no more, an issue that's being supported by CSUF Fullerton students.
I actually voted yes on Prop 67, but I totally forgot, and when I went to Target, I forgot to bring bags. So I had to carry all my stuff in my hands, but I think it's a good thing because we'll be saving the planet.
It's more convenient for the environment, so like if you want to buy a bag, then go buy a bag, but you can like use a recyclable bag.
Not everyone is in favor of Prop 67 because it will be causing inconveniences when students go shopping at our most closest store.
I'm honestly kind of annoyed about it just because I do shop at Target a lot and different grocery stores, and it's really hard to like bring all of your groceries without any plastic bags now, and having to pay is kind of a drag. It adds up eventually. So I'd say that it was better just to have the bags and not have to pay, because like I said, it just adds up eventually.
With Proposition 67 receiving more yes than no's, it's already a policy taking place in Fullerton, California, with the purpose of environmental care and to prevent more damages in the environment. For the report program, this is Carla Bonilla.
I think that those Prop 67 is super important, especially for the environment. Mm-hmm. No more animals will hopefully be killed from the reduction of plastic in the marine environment now.
Yeah, I agree. Although they're really convenient, they're not really necessary, so I'm glad we banned them.
Yeah, and I think for 64, I mean, people are happy that it passed, and it does give people another chance to have their cases reopened, so.
I agree. Happy Hour used to be an American tradition, but without a pub on Cal State Fullerton's campus, the tradition has ended. Reporter Matt Monhay has the story.
Happy Hour and college students. Doesn't that sound like they go together? It could, but the pub that was open at TSU has been closed for some while now. Many college students and workers do not celebrate this American tradition that much anymore. Of course, restaurants and bars have their own times for it, but whatever happened to going to the pub after work with your coworkers, or going to a buddy's house after a long day of school to sit down and have a cold one?
You know, back in the day, and my parents actually both went here, and my dad used to go down there all the time. He talked about how fun the pub was, and when he came to visit me here, he was sad to see that it gets no use now. So we are in the midst of discussions with ASE in the hopes of bringing a local downtown brand that students can identify with, that they know from the area, onto campus. I think it's important to be able to go hang out with your friends, and if that can involve grabbing a beer, then I think all the better. So there's potential for some great things to be happening with the pub in the future, and right now my hope is that we can open it for limited hours so that students can have a place to gather and hang out between classes and just to relax after a long school day.
For the report program, this is Matt Monhay.
With the athletic department being at the front porch of the university, many challenges can arise, but the success will not be tarnished. Reporter Lucero Alberto has more details.
At Cal State Fullerton, the success from the athletics department is pretty evident. The softball team received 4 signed national letters of intent during the early signing period this past week, and the baseball team reeled in 12. However, there are some challenges in the department. Senior Assistant Athletics Director Steve Butella says,
in the last 20 years, our business has changed dramatically. And I think that in the next 20 years, it's also going to change in terms of what's being said, how you can say it, how can you communicate with your customers is really what I think is the most challenging thing.
This is all due to technology, which can filter people's mind into only what they want to see. With athletics being the front porch of the university, it is necessary to have the whole department on the same page, which includes funding. Revenue can come from Big West Conference appearances, alumni donations, ticket sales, or corporate sponsorships. In order for the Titans to be well funded, Butella helps to determine how the budget is allocated throughout the department. There's a lot of factors that come into play when trying to be the best department that it can be to its athletes. But overall, it somehow manages to get it right over and over again.
Fullerton College's 2016 women's water polo season is officially over. The team faced several challenges this season, but still managed to play strong and end their season with a title. Laura Quinton has the report.
The season for Fullerton College's water polo team has come to an end. Having a smaller team led to a bit of a slower start to the season in comparison to 2014 when the team went undefeated.
It definitely made me nervous for the season because we went pretty far last year, so I feel like you're expected to do well.
The team always pushed through in each game. After having a few losses, the team came back and won the Orange Empire Conference Championships game, beating out number 1 team Riverside and number 2 Golden West.
I wish we would have been able to go further just because we were the underdogs, so that would have been pretty cool, but overall I think we did really well from everything we've had to overcome this season.
Though the team will not be advancing into the state championship game to have the opportunity to win the very prized ring, they had a strong season and will still finish with a great title.
I'm disappointed. I mean, you always want to play in the last game of the season, in the championship game, and win your last game of the season. But at the same time, with the different adversities that we had and situations within the team, I'm very happy with how the team performed, competed, and finished.
And coach is getting really excited for next season.
We do have a lengthy freshman incoming squad potentially coming in, because you never know. But we already have quite a list of girls coming in for next year to add to our roster. The team that we had, I enjoyed very much.
I'm Laura Quinton with The Report.
Tuition at all 23 California State Universities may see an increase within the following school year. Students have been raising their voice on their opposition to this idea. Reporter Rebecca Fausto has more on the story.
What many students at Cal State Fullerton don't know is that they might get affected by a raise in tuition next year. Last Friday, the newspaper OC Register published an article revealing that the CSUF board was considering unhiking tuition for next year. Cal State University's tuition has been stable since the 2011-2012 school year. But this Tuesday, the CSUF Board of Trustees casted their vote on favor to approve the new $5.8 billion financial plan for the next academic year. Due to this new plan, tuition could increase up to $270 a year for undergraduate students. These posters have been placed all over Cal State Fullerton campus to create awareness among students. Here are some reactions.
I think that if we raise tuition, then students will have, they'll be less likely to enroll in as many units because classes or units are dictated by how much money are in units. So kids are not going to want to enroll in as many if there's a higher tuition, basically.
I think it's really unfair because students have other type of expenses like food, rent, groceries, so our budgets are going to be tighter now, so I don't think it's fair for all of the students in campus.
That same Tuesday, after the vote was casted, a group of about 20 students from Cal State Long Beach protested wearing zombie costumes and calling themselves members of the Walking Dead. CSU will now ask the state for added funding to avoid a hike in tuition. They hope the California legislature agrees to cover the gap between the current funding for Cal State campuses and the new preliminary budget plan. For the Report program, this is Rebecca Fausto.
Coming up after the break, we have stories on the avocado shortage as well as Black Friday. Stay tuned for more.
Go, ladies.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, I stole a cheeseburger once on my dog.
You ever think about buying a bigger place? Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy. There is no credit fairy. How else will I get a better credit score? Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it. No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Thank you and welcome back to the report program. California is facing a major avocado shortage due to decrease in shipment from Mexico, causing households and businesses to suffer. Nakia Campbell has the story.
As of October, consumers across California have been experiencing a major decline in the production of avocados. The shortage has caused many businesses, big and small, to raise their prices on the commodity or discontinue it from the menu altogether until prices reach a more affordable rate. As grocery stores guarantee their customers their best and lowest prices, it is still pretty expensive to purchase the fruit, costing up to $3 for one. Avocado lover Eric Lim tells us how he feels about the skyrocketing prices.
Well, I think that when I go out, I think I'll definitely think twice about purchasing avocados. I have to just be more of a better shopper as far as looking for bargains on a newspaper. It means that I'm not going to enjoy avocados when I go out like I usually do.
Mexico is one of California's major suppliers of avocados, and according to the Haas Avocado Board, shipments have decreased more than 60%. Although California does have its own avocado crops, the drought has prevented much success. Consumers can expect to see high prices remain into the next year. I am Nakia Campbell with the report.
Are you prepared for a massive earthquake? The deadly earthquake that recently occurred in New Zealand caused injuries, deaths, and millions of dollars in damage. Many experts believe some of the damage could have been avoided if people were better prepared. Nicholas Garcia has more on how to prepare for the next big quake.
Everyone who lives in California is used to earthquakes, and we're always preparing for the big one. With the recent deadly 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked New Zealand, again we as Californians are faced with this question: how prepared are we for a massive earthquake? If you haven't already, you should prepare an earthquake kit, complete with medications, a radio, flashlights, first aid tools, and a food and water supply to last at least 72 hours. Aside from the emergency kit and the drop, cover, and hold on rule most experts recommend, staying in up-to-date buildings is another way to prepare for a big earthquake.
I would like to see us build buildings to be used and not just to crawl out alive. Because after we crawl out alive, what's the city going to be like when there's no building to go to work in? How many people will stay when there's no place to live, they can't go to work, and they haven't had a shower in a month because we broke the water pipes?
Many buildings in California were built before earthquake-proof technology was developed. And retrofitting old houses and buildings could save millions of dollars in earthquake damage. The library here on the Cal State Fullerton campus is going through renovations, but construction crews are still retrofitting and repairing damages done by the La Habra earthquake in 2014. From Pollock Library South, I'm Nicholas Garcia for the Report program.
The busiest shopping days across the United States is just around the corner. Black Friday is only 8 days away, and when those doors open, you never know what you're going to get. Taylor Rodriguez has more.
It's that time of year again when shoppers face stampedes and violent brawls in hopes of snagging those crazy holiday bargains. Black Friday is one of the busiest shopping days in the United States and the kickstart to the Christmas shopping season. Black Friday is not an official holiday, but seems like it's making its way to becoming just that. People start lining up days before some stores actually open to make sure they get their hands on that discounted flat-screen TV. Retailers like Target, Walmart, Best Buy, and even Amazon are amongst the top sellers. Last year, $8.8 billion was spent on Black Friday, and 3.79 on Thanksgiving, coming into a total of $12.59 billion. I spoke with two Target employees about their feelings on working this Black Friday.
I'm nervous about the crowd. What's the most nerve-wracking part is just being overwhelmed by, all the people.
Nervous about all these people and getting probably yelled at by a lot of people, not having products that are in. I'm really not excited about it.
If you don't enjoy being pushed and shoved while shopping, then Black Friday might not be for you. I'm Taylor Rodriguez with the report.
Would you risk your life for social media? Snapchat has a filter that shows you how fast you're going, and as a result, people are speeding and ended up getting seriously injured or killed. Tony Fan has a story on Snapchat and driving.
Speeding is a dangerous thing. It's not all glamorous like you see in Fast and Furious or Need for Speed. Now imagine mixing speeding with Snapchatting. That's a whole new story.
Accelerating, first to what Snapchat says is nearly 83 miles an hour, then to more than 115. Florida police say 9 minutes after the clip was posted, 22-year-old Pablo Cortez and 19-year-old Jolie Bartolome were killed.
This app has changed the face of social media. However, it's extremely dangerous to use while driving. The Snapchat filter does recommend you to not snap and drive.
Do you Snapchat and drive?
No, I do not.
Since you don't, what message do you have for those that do?
My message would be to stop it immediately. It's honestly so dangerous. You can, hurt yourself, hurt other people, and it's just not worth it.
I think the speed filter was just another alluring feature that a lot of people like. So I think that it's appealing as a user to have, but appealing in every wrong way.
I think it's pretty interesting. It shows you how fast you're driving, and a lot of the passengers and sometimes the drivers, they like to use it to snap their friends, like, oh, I'm going 70 whatever miles per hour. This is so cool. So I think it's like a thing where you're kind of like showing off to your friends.
Would you put someone's life in danger for a cool Snapchat? Let's focus on the drive and enjoy the ride. I'm Tony Fan, reporting for The Reporter.
Now this is something interesting. Gonorrhea, also known as America's Superbug, has certain strains of the disease that have become persistent to commonly used antibiotics. Reporter Bree Burries covers how gonorrhea has affected the United States and what people can do to stay healthy and knowledgeable.
If it wasn't serious before, it is now. We're running out of ways to treat gonorrhea. The misuse of antibiotics is causing untreatable strains of gonorrhea. Gonorrhea, an STD prevalent across the world, has been found highly resistant in the United States. An antibiotic-resistant strain of gonorrhea has popped up in Canada, Japan, England, and now the United States. The STD infection is known as the world's newest superbug. The United States Center of Disease Control and Prevention cautions Americans that the line of defense against gonorrhea is weakening. If resistance increases and continues to spread, we're looking at approximately 800,000 Americans a year that will be at risk for untreatable gonorrhea, according to the director of the CDC. Why is gonorrhea so resistant now? Joshua Gibson, a peer health educator at Cal State University Fullerton, explains why.
Yeah, I have heard that certain strains are becoming more resistant to the treatment and the antibodies that are given. And a lot of that might be because of people not finishing their first round of medication. That's a huge thing with any antibodies, and especially since that's pretty prevalent with young folks.
There are ways people can prevent the spread of different strains of gonorrhea. Mia Sabrina Maricould, a Titan Well health educator, explains.
And a way to get rid of that is to literally have conversations about sex. And they don't have to be gross locker room talks. It's literally, you can ask, where can I get condoms? Because I am afraid of, contracting an STI or STD. I'm afraid of getting pregnant. I'm afraid of getting someone pregnant.
It's time to get knowledgeable to prevent the spread of gonorrhea. This is Bree Burris from the Report Program.
If you've thought you've seen the last of Xander Cage movies, well, you're wrong. Here's reporter Lydia Mosqueda with more.
Xander Cage. This is crazy.
Xander Cage is back. Paramount Pictures, along with Power 106, hosted a XXX fan viewing party in the downtown Los Angeles area. Those who could get tickets were treated to free food, courtesy of street-side food trucks, punching bag and skateboard video game, Cage's signature XXX tattoo spray paintings, muscle t-shirts with a XXX logo on it, and a photo booth that put you in your very own XXX The Return of Xander Cage movie poster. There was also a raffle the guests got to participate in, many winning lavish gifts like iPhones and iPads. Power 106's own DJ Felifel DJ'd the entire night and was later joined by surprise musical guest rapper Ty Dolla $ign. The rapper is one of the artists featured in the Americanos track In My Foreign.
This guy right here destroyed that hook on this song. Y'all make some noise.
Which is also in the movie soundtrack. Together, the duo got the crowd excited for the screening, hinting at a possible second surprise at the Regal Theater.
And start making your way across the street to the Regal because it's about to go down in a real way.
Once inside, Power 106 kept the music playing while continuing to raffle out iPhones and iPads to more lucky winners. But when the music stopped, the excitement grew. It was time to reveal that second surprise.
Right now, I need you to get loud.
In walks Xander Cage himself, accompanied by co-star Nina Dobrev. Vin Diesel thanked the audience for coming out to see the movie.
Good things take time, and we wanted this to be just right for you.
What was supposed to be a screening of 10 minutes of the film turned into something more.
Like 15 minutes, right? What about the whole movie?
As if a surprise appearance by the actors and rapper was not enough, fans were also given their very own Xander Cage skateboard.
The whole thing was amazing. It was like very well coordinated. It really was great. We talked to Diesel and Nina Dobrev. They had free giveaways. It was amazing.
XXX The Return of Xander Cage is set to premiere in theaters on January 20th.
Our last story of the day is one for the books. In the age of remakes and sequels returning to the big screen, Disney contributes by turning their classic animated films into a live action for fans to enjoy. Jessica O'Neill with the story.
Get ready, Disney fans. The trailer for the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast is finally here. The film holds promise by adding in all the familiar scenes from the animated film and also includes several big names such as Harry Potter's Emma Watson as Belle. With movies consistently being remakes and sequels nowadays, Disney has attempted to transform its beloved animated classics by adding the live-action twist. Since it is the same story, what do people think of this being a trend?
You know, Disneyland, they're always remaking it, and I don't know, I think they're just making it for the money, primarily.
Despite money being a huge incentive for the Walt Disney Company, moviegoers will go to the film anyway, since each live-action film has been #1 in the box office with each release. Fans love to get nostalgic with their upbringing of Disney and look forward to see the tales grown up.
Now with technology being so advanced, it looks more real. Not like back then, that stuff would look really fake, but that's something I like.
Disney won't stop anytime soon, as announcements have been made for Mulan to be humanized and for the film based around 101 Dalmatians villain Cruella de Vil, with Emma Stone set to play the lead role. For The Report, I'm Jessica O'Neill.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of The Report program. I'm Taylor Pasqua.
I'm Taylor Perea.
And I'm Kira Norell. Have a good night.
Definitely.